D&D Players of Reddit, what is the biggest mistake you've ever made in-game? Part 1. There is no way in hell this is not going to end very badly, but I'm ready for it, baby. Let's go. My buddy spent a week preparing a campaign for our group. In the first 10 minutes, we entered a dungeon and he described a strange mirror on the wall gilded with demonic faces. I immediately claimed I was going to touch it. I can't end well. My hand went through, so I jumped. DM took me into another room and explained that I entered another dimension and died instantly. I walked back to the table smiling, then started updating my character sheet. The rest of the party jumped through the mirror without hesitation and all met my fate. We still joke about that 25 years later. I put a bag of holding into another bag of holding just by saying I loot everything and put it in my bag of holding. It ruined our campaign and got 3 PCs killed. I am a casual player. My party and I were going to raid a mountain inhabited by goblins and had to cross a crevasse. The two sides were connected by a bridge. As a joke, I told my DM that I was going to kick one of our party mates off the bridge. Rolled a 1, everybody freaked out. DM proceeded to tell me that I missed my party member and jumped off the bridge. Rolled again to attempt to grab the ledge and got another 1. Smacked my head on the edge of the bridge, fell hundreds of feet, slamming into the ground. I survived with less than 5% of my HP and screamed so loudly that it called the entire goblin army out of their mountain, which we were planning on taking room by room. I royally messed that one up. They let me down a rope. By the time I got up, they had killed the entire army. Admittedly, it made the entire dungeon easier. Our party was raiding a castle, and in the dungeons under the castle, came across a mysterious rod with 2 buttons. A black button and a yellow button. The wizard in our group was able to confirm it detected as a very powerful magical item, possibly on par with minor artifacts, but he couldn't identify what it was. I decided that since the wizard was incompetent, I'd figure out what the rod did myself. I was a paladin and knew nothing of spells or magic. I pointed the rod at the wall and pressed the black button, and nothing appeared to happen. I pressed the yellow button, and again, nothing happened. I pondered that perhaps there was some sort of combination, so I started pressing the buttons in random order, like yellow, then black, black, then yellow, black, black, then yellow, and so on. Finally, the rod stopped detecting as magical, and we began to clear back out of the dungeon and went back upstairs to the main levels of the castle. Apparently, the rod was a weather controlling device. The black button made weather conditions one step worse, with fairly significant steps. For example, pressing the button on a nice sunny day would cause thunderstorms. Pressing it a second time may cause a tornado, etc. The yellow button increased the radius of the effect by a mile. It just so happened that I used all 50 charges on the rod and made the weather worse by 25 steps in a 25-mile radius. Since I fiddled with the rod so quickly, I managed to do that in about a minute or 2 and didn't notice the upcoming effects, not to mention we were underground at the time and would have had a hard time hearing storms to begin with. The overall effect was fairly disastrous. By the time we realized what happened, it was raining down acid and flames outside and destroying the castle. A nearby civilization of a rare subrace of elves that only existed in those parts was entirely wiped out, and we were trying to reclaim the castle for them in the first place. Luckily, we teleported away to safety, so none of us were injured in the battle, except for our horses, which were tied up outside. Oh, god damn it, that's just brutal. Oh no. Oh, and I lost my paladin status for causing the genocide of the elves through gross negligence and stupidity. My best huge mistake moment was made by somebody else. Let's call him Bob. So we're exploring an evil temple or castle or some such, like you do, and we open a door and discover a twisted black vortex of pure nothingness. So Bob gets the actually smart idea to throw a fork through this black vortex to see if it's just an illusion. Well, there's the horrible sound of twisting and scraping metal, and then out comes a crumpled up ball of fork. Bob's reaction is, "Sweet, I sprung the trap. I walked through the door." We all rolled initiative to stop him, but he was too fast and stupid for us. Out comes a crumpled up ball of Bob. I love that. There are plenty of good Bob stories. We were in a tavern listening to a bard sing a tale that was probably setting up the next arc. Afterward, Bob approaches him and says, "Good play."
It was more of a ballad.
"No, I mean you played your harp good. Good play." Became an inside joke forever. One time, his character died through less than brilliant, but not biggest mistake ever, choices. And we went over his character sheet to divide up vital equipment. He had a wheelbarrow and mining equipment. So you probably didn't bring that, right? "No, I always have my wheelbarrow of mining equipment." "You had that when we were crossing the river?" "Yeah." "You had that when we were fleeing on horseback?" "Yeah." Okay, last one. We once ran an evil campaign where we were all evil motherfuckers. Bob talked smack to the priest of death, who laughed it off, then decapitated him. So Bob rolled up a new character who was clearly designed to kill the priest. When the DM introduces him to us, Bob acts very ominous towards the priest. The priest player says,
"Is your character really saying that? Because if so, it's very obvious he's planning to start shit."
Anyway, fast forward to nightfall. We're hiding out in some farmer's barn. After assorted discussions in character, plus a few notes to the DM, Bob takes first watch. The rest of us wake up to find Bob's character hanged from the rafters. Oh God. As the priest tells the tale, he saw this coming a mile away. I mean, we all did. So he slept in the loft, but his role was filled with hay. When Bob got stabby, priest caught him from behind with a paralyze spell. Noose around the neck. Quick push, no more Bob. Again. DM said he could only roll a new one if he promises not to have a nonsense OOC, which means out of character, grudge this time. Being a low-level rogue, I decided the best course of action was to steal from a very high-level wizard. Certainly that couldn't go wrong. I got turned into a sheep. This could have been bad, but the DM improvised. Ran off figuring it would wear off eventually. Dodged wolves and other things trying to make me their dinner, including my former party. 2 weeks go by, DM introduces a druid. Yay, for someone who can talk to me! Explains what permanency is. Oh crap, I'm stuck as a lamb. Basically, I sidekicked as a woolly companion for a few sessions, then the druid decided I may have learned my lesson. Get spell reversed, but with the condition that I can never steal again, or I will become a sheepy companion and no amount of magic will be able to ever reverse it again. So now, I've got a rogue that is constantly tweaking out about not being able to steal. Must pass on lavish contracts from Thieves Guild, like 20,000 GP to steal a farmer's candle. I don't even loot bodies with my character. End up level 8 with pretty much starter gear. Maybe a +1 weapon from a quest or such. Until one day our group is delving into the depths of a series of catacombs. We enter a room and our caster's magic lights went out, and summons dispelled. A strong anti-magic field. I roll for pickpocket on the fighter. 1 copper piece and 1 silver piece. Curse triggered. Anti-magic field retaliated. Left with -2 HP, and the copper piece fused into my right wrist, and the silver piece in my left. Cleric cast a heal spell. It worked. I had just broken my curse, but at the same time destroyed the anti-magic field. Then we found out what the field was being used to contain. Demigod status liches are not nice. Wiped out 4 cities before we could even get 2 party members resurrected. First game. Wanted to test the limits of this new medium. We had an elven ranger, 2 dwarven druids, and me, the half-orc barbarian. This is how we met. You enter the grove. DM describes grove. I chopped down a tree. Stairs, roll for it. A 15. I chopped that mother down. The 2 druid brothers become hostile at this affront. I pay them no mind and search the felled tree for delicious wildlife. I find some. It's delicious. One of the druids charges me and I say, "Can I try diplomacy?" Roll for it? Natural 20. Okay, what do you say? "Whoa, man. Whoa." While in the army, we would often entrust our characters to someone else to play if we were doing training and weren't able to play. We needed to cross an icy chasm, unsurprisingly with lava at the bottom. I decided my buddy's character would drink a potion of diminution, grab a rope, and I would throw him across so we could cross. A terrible toss followed by poor grenade table ended with an absent player destroyed by lava with no corpse to resurrect. Wasn't me, but a game I was DM for. Players are on a boat and a sea monster approaches. Now the point of the sea monster was to have an epic fight where the players get beat up a bit and the boat gets pulled into an underwater city. One of the players asks to be lowered down on the rope, tied to a plank so that he's right in front of the monster. He won't tell anyone why, and for whatever reason, they do it. He gets down there and proudly proclaims he's casting animal friendship on the sea monster. Of course, the player didn't read the bit about the hit dice limitation, so the sea monster just ate him. The rest of the players suggested that the next time he wants to be lowered down on something, that instead of a plank, maybe a Ritz cracker would be more appropriate. Yeah! Gotta get that snack on! I was DMing a game and the party was on a ship. Deja vu? We were playing 3.5 and I had made a special gridded ship and everything. I intended for them to sail to the new location with some sea battles along the way. I started riffing descriptions of the ocean off the top of my head. Waves, seagulls, an island, dolphins, and they latched onto the idea of this island. They turned the whole ship around to explore this island. I locked myself in the kitchen for half an hour while they ate pizza to come up with a quick mini mission to get them on their way. I had them fighting Sawagan. Great enemies, except on land their movement is lame. I had to invent an enemy on the spot. Shark hounds, so silly. But they liked it, so not too bad in the end.